Dzień dobry, witam bardzo serdecznie na reakcji live na żywo na preview z Adepticonu. Tylko w jednym miejscu, tylko na 8. regimencie, o tej porze, na bieżąco, gdy rzeczy będą się pojawiać. Wstałem, zobaczyłem, otworzyłem. Czy ja się spóźniłem już na tym etapie? Nie. Otóż już rzucili pełen obrazek tego, co się pojawi na preview. Jeszcze trwa. I znowu jesteśmy na Twitchu. Bobert spało się ok. Miałem sen, że wygrałem grę w 40. To był bardzo dziwny sen. O, widzę, że czat też jeszcze nie zrobiony poprawnie. Już to naprawiamy. No. No, bo Bercia, niestety nie mam tej okazji nie spać sobie później. Dobra, to no, w sumie audio możemy dać trochę głośniej. Mam nadzieję, że nagrywam odpowiednio. Coś miałem jeszcze zrobić. Już pamiętam, co miałem zrobić. No więc, co widzimy w tym obrazku? To jest interesujące. O, Chris, dzień dobry, dzień dobry. Wiem czego jeszcze nie zrobiłem. Już to naprawiam. Bo jest odłączone. Ten profesjonalizm. O, teraz zobaczymy, kiedy zaskoczę. No właśnie, rzeczy, które widzę, są dobre. Interesujące. Dobra, jest to zrobione. Wracamy do problemu kamery. O, jesteśmy... Oczywiście, ekscytująca muzyka. Już mam oczywiście wyciągnięte swoje wirtualne swoje preview bingo. Jeśli chcecie brać udział, to tu jest link. Po kliknięciu powinna się otworzyć inna kombinacja tego wszystkiego i już widzę, że potencjalnie mamy kill team, może tyranidów. Nie wiem, co to wodny tyranid? Więc to jest kill team, na który czekaliśmy. Jest dobrze. Szczerze, to może być bardzo dobry preview. O! Jeszcze raz. Przypomnę, żebym wstał. Chodzimy pisane jako dziadu. Ziemniak, dzień dobry. Nie ma spania, jest preview. Ekscytująca muzyka. O, dobra. O. No właśnie, tak trochę wygląda jakby dropnęli. O właśnie, Warcry. To jest dobry, ktoś napisał na czasie na Twitchu. Fakt. Poza prowadzących. Ja mam serce ciągnąć o tej godzinie, ale zdaje mi się, że Kuba nie śpi. Nie wiem, czy Kuba nie jest czasem w pracy. Zapytałem go, czy nie chce być. Czy będziemy mieć też dobre reklamy? Skoro jesteśmy na Twitchu, to czy znowu będziemy mieli reklamę krzeseł? Zobaczymy. To i wiele innych rzeczy w dzisiejszym live'ie. Prosto w sumie prosto z okolic Warszawy, a nie z Wisconsin. Ale tak trochę z Wisconsin też jesteśmy. No, dokładnie. Myślę, że oboje muszą być na tyle wcześnie rano na nogach, że nie są w stanie być pozostali współpracujący. Czekamy. Minuta. Dam sobie głośniej trochę audio, żebym słyszał trochę lepiej. Co to mamy? Tu mamy coś takiego, to mogą być Grey Knight, a nie, to jest serwitor chyba. Płyta jest bardzo serwitorowa. To wiem, co to jest Warhammer Fantasy, to jest Space Wolf. To jest Kafia. To jest 8bound. To jest coś tarzanowego i to jest coś tranickiego. Ta płyta jest znajoma, tą płytę już widzieliśmy kiedyś. Blackstone Fortress?
Hello everyone and welcome to the Warhammer live preview show coming to you from Nottingham. My name's Nick, this is Alex. We're really
To nie jest to, ale...
We've got so much stuff to show.
Nie, o, stu nie będzie w takim razie. Skoro jest na żywo.
It's going to be great. That's all coming up very soon. Now this weekend we are celebrating it of course as
No właśnie, może Katafron? Faktycznie.
Milwaukee. If you're there at the event, hello. You may have already seen some of the stuff we're about to show you already, but keep quiet for now. Great to have you here. But of course there's folks all around the world. Please let us
Powiedzieli exciting news.
Where you are. And in fact, this evening we're helped out because we are live. You can ask us questions. We have.
Jeśli będzie za głośno, to dajcie znać.
O!
Bo to był stu, to byłby twist.
Now, crucially, that is in the Twitch chat only. I know we're on YouTube as well, but if you're in Twitch, please put your questions in there. We'll try to get as many of those answered as we possibly can as the show goes on. Now, we have so much to show you this evening, and in fact, we're going to give you a quick glimpse right now.
Już? Czy zaczynamy? Czy to jest preview? Nie, to tylko preview. Preview. To jest bardzo preview.
That was very exciting.
There's lots of cool stuff there.
You've seen us, you've seen the sizzle reel. It's now time to jump straight into the old world with the Wood Elf realms.
Here we go.
Yeah, so the Wood Elves are the
Dobra.
Lauren is a high
Okej, prawie widzieliśmy.
You get a fantastic battalion, as well as their arcane journal, which contains all the lore, background, regiments. We've got a Ryan in there, loads of fantastic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely elite army on the
Spoko.
tabletop. These guys
Oddworld,
are superb,
leśne elfy.
off the table. Yeah, Alex is absolutely right. What he says there. We've also got the hero here, the Araloth, Lord of Talson as well.
Pytanie gdzie? O właśnie.
The Wood Elves. This guy was a coward in his youth, right?
Yes, he was a cowardly youth, however, having fallen from his horse and
Fajna
himself
dzida.
the goddess, as you do, He then regained his courage and eventually went on to slay Morga the Corruptor.
Dobra. Nie mam włączonego odbloka. Więc gdzie reklamy?
There can be sent across the battlefield to peck the eyes out of your enemies, which is great fun. And of course, alongside the Arcane Journal, which is coming for the Wood Elves.
No to okej, wiedzieliśmy o tym, że będzie.
Dedicated to the Wood Elves with background, rules, historical recreations. You can fight in there. New heroes. We got Orion, King of the Woods, returns, leading his wild hunt while the armies of
To jest stare chyba, co nie?
as well as magic items.
To jest ten.
Units which you can take as well, conversions from other units that exist.
Ale zapomniałem, jak on ma.
Alex, I'm super excited
Bruce
about
Willis?
the fact that beast
Braveheart?
packs are returning to the Wood Elf realms. You'll be able to field units of Deepwood Hounds, Forest Cats, Sylvan Boars, and even a Bear of Lauren. So you can have a bear running around your Wood Elf army. That sounds great.
Brilliant.
So there we are.
You mentioned beasts there.
Obawiam się, że raczej nie będzie Iron Warrior. Znaczy, te automaty potencjalnie. O, tu też stara modele. O, modele Sigmara. Mam je. Mam dokładnie je. Mam dokładnie do Sigmara. Jakiś tak idiotycznie tani byli. To jest tu 100 za ten, za dziesiątkę. Też widzieliśmy. Nic nowego. Tyle fajnych rzeczy. Drugi mecz, nisza żewica nie, porucznik nie, krapi płynie coś dla gwardii, malakiet, exciting news, pewnie na pewno były, ale Fligotik, Necromunda, Armiset nie ma, to są bataliony są Armisetem, nie na co czekaliśmy, stu kitim dla agentów Imperium, dla tyranidów, kodeks, poza kolejnością, pandemonium, nie. Ranges are coming in. We've just shown you a selection here, so don't expect just this. There's loads more coming as well. And of course, we've got the Arcane Journal for the Beastmen Brayherds. Again, big book full of lore. Nie, jeszcze artykułu jakby co nie ma. Nie ma też reklam. Jest smutno. Automaty generalnie lorowe są dane spróbować powstrzymać się wasz tyle przed osiągnięciem Godhuda, a po jego stronie mają może więc jak na mój idealny moment. No, może. Byłoby fajnie. Dokładnie. O. I Kafi szczerze nikt się nie spodziewał. Is among the oldest civilizations in the world. Kafia miała być, potem miała nie być. O mój Boże, to są to jest jakby to sobie zaklikam jako wampiry do Oldworlda, tak. Potem znajdę dlaczego, bo powiedzieli, że że nie będzie Kafi. Że w tym momencie nie będzie Kafi. Co ciekawe, jak będą wychodzić w takim razie. Bo jednostki wiemy, jakie będą mieli. Będą mieli te, które mają w Totaworze. Jeszcze bardziej rejstowskie ogry? I perform the duty bestowed on me by my divine father centuries ago. Czyli to jest ta sama kobieta? Myślałem, że właśnie ojciec będzie. Jak będzie model w stylu Morati, że jest jakby w tej ludzkiej formie smoczej, fajnie by było. I chyba będzie. Nie, Kafia i tyle. Dobra. What? Mongołowie, mongolska kawaleria. O, chyba jest to, co powiedziałem. Ale zobaczymy, co pokażą. Kafia.
Genuine goosebumps after watching that.
What a video. What a range.
Fajne, podoba
Let's
mi
talk
się.
about
Podoba
it.
mi się,
So
że Kasia
Grand
jednak wychodzi.
Cathay is here, marching into
Tak.
the old world. Alex,
Wielgachne.
So Grand Cathay is one of the oldest civilizations in the world of legend. They've stood as sort of an eternal bulwark against the evils of the world. It's a land of cities, farms, great mountains, and it's had a sort of internal stability and harmony.
I to są wszystko nowe modele. To jest też bardzo fajne.
Turmoil.
Czy oczywiście nowe, one mogły być zaprojektowane 3 lata temu.
Dragon Emperor himself, and as you can imagine, having an immortal leader lends a bit of stability there.
that's what a great sort of idea and concept for a force, and it's a very different army to anything else you might see in Warhammer the Old World. They are an elite army, heavily armed and heavily armored. Even the
No
basic
spoko,
troops
jasne,
are
domyślam się, że
super
będzie
elite.
elitarna armia tylko
There's a
piechoty.
mixture of troops, cavalry, war engines, terrifying monsters. And we're going to go through a few of them now because the battalion box set, which we see here, is what a great scope of miniatures we've got in front of us. And first and foremost, let's talk about the infantry. Alex, the Jade Warriors, who are they?
So the Jade Warriors are the well-equipped sort of core of a city's army. So they're known as the Jade Warriors because that stone is sort of sacred to the Dragon Emperor, and it's said to represent sort of the implacable nature of the Empire. They have pole arms, heavy armor, shields. They're formidable in the attack, but defense is where they're strong.
Fajne tasaki mają.
These are, you're absolutely right, and that's reflected in the rules as well. These guys have the rule defensive stance, where if they remain stationary, they can re-roll ones in the combat phase on their saves, which is cool.
To jest bardzo interesujące, co mówią o zasadach. W pełni rozumiem, na czym polegają te zasady. Zobaczcie, ja jestem ogromnym fanem Mongołów. Mongołowie są wyjątkiem. Podbili Rosję podczas zimy.
These guys are special.
Yeah, the Jade Warriors are the shield, these guys are the spear. They're the knights of the celestial host. They've been forged in battle and drawn from the most disciplined and skilled soldiers of the great cities.
Znaczy, mam nadzieję, że te bicy ładnie się łączą z bicami miasta Sigmara, żeby zrobić unikalne miasto Sigmara.
On the battlefield, basically, they are able to charge and annihilate the enemy. They specialize
Dokładnie.
in sort of
No, miasto Sigmara by się fajnie... W końcu!
They're absolutely devastating cavalry.
60-watowa ładowarka. Tego właśnie potrzebowałem bez osie.
So that makes them super hitty, and also the
Dobra,
Cathayan
mogę?
Cataphracts
Nie mogę zamknąć
let's
tego,
see them
cholera.
follow up from combat and counters charging next turn, so that's going to go
Teraz,
straight
o,
to the
dziękuję.
next one.
Potem zobaczę bez os.
Absolutely devastating. But if you don't want to get too close to your opponent, like the Jade
Fajnie,
Lancers
fajne.
do,
Takie
you
same
can,
mają
fancy,
klapki na
taking
oczy
some of
jak
these artillery pieces as
artyleria.
well. Check these out, man.
No, też fajna artyleria.
So all along
Fajny.
Great Bastion, you've got rocket launchers and cannons.
To trochę nieodpowiedzialne, ale to bardzo pasuje miasto Sigmara, prawdę powiedziawszy.
Fire Rain rocket battery might be a little bit inaccurate, but they're incredibly deadly, launching explosives great distances. So this
Też fajne.
Fire Rain rocket battery is a portable version of the War Machine. It's crewed by
A ciekawe, co gramy w takim razie tutaj. Czy też mają dziurę w brzuchu? Opcje złożenia. I z czego są? To jest żywica. Jak to wygląda, jak ja tak... A, nie zobaczę. A, dobra.
It's just a great characterful piece, isn't it, Loader? It is actually an upgrade for the artillery piece in terms of the rules. He helps protect your artillery piece with gunpowder bombs. He can help the cannon move faster by lugging it along, and also it can allow it to shoot twice, once per game in one phase, which is pretty impressive.
O,
You load it
fajne.
super fast. The Grand Cannon you see here does such
Nie wygląda na żywicy, to jakby po czym oceniasz? Przypomnę cały ten, 40 jest żywicy, cała 40. W sumie to pewnie jest plastik. Dokładnie tak, to się zgodzę, że pewnie jest plastik.
Check out the guy at the back with the sort of the bamboo rocket who's smoking a pipe right next to the rocket. What a hero! What a hero! Love this stuff.
Dokładnie,
But
też
that's
zgadzam
the
się.
we've seen in the battalion. We've also got some other stuff as well. This is the Sky Lantern.
Latacz.
Yes, so this is a beautiful centerpiece miniature. It's an intricately decorated construction of
Jeden strzał i po problemie. No i znowu, bardzo fajne bicy. O, bardzo fajne ręce ten. Bardzo fajny karabin dla mojego skitarii. Bardzo fajny oficer dla moich miast Sigmara. Dobra, zobaczmy, co są ładowarką. Ile kosztuje? Dużo. To jest domyślnie w zestawie? To fajnie.
and they can guide from the Sky Lantern using fans
Dobra,
and bands.
dobra dowarka.
This is great. The magistrate you see there is a hero choice for the force, and you can choose to mount him in a
O,
sky lantern.
to jest
if you want
bohater.
to. He can be on
Cool.
foot if you want to as well, or you can take your sky lantern without one of those inside if you want to as well. It's a huge, rare, heavy chariot basically on a new base size, which is quite cool. And you can equip the gunners on board with an array of gunpowder weapons and bombs, including the
Właśnie jak to jest montowane na podstawki?
lantern itself has those
Na tym się
huge
trzyma?
sky lantern bombs underneath it, which are absolutely devastating. One of my favorite rules about this thing is the Eye of the Dragon rule, which lets Cathayan artillery use this model's line of sight, so the crew on board are directing the
fajne.
artillery fire for the rest of the force, which is fantastic. So
Just one thing I want to note on this as well is the transfers.
Yes.
You'll have seen on all the banners these wonderful, intricate symbols, and as well there on the Sky Lantern, those are all transfers.
absolutely good. You don't have to be a level 4 brush sorcerer to complete
Transfery.
that. So there we
Cool,
go.
cool,
Fantastic
cool,
news
cool.
for the Cathayan players. That's not the only centerpiece model we've got. Of course, up next we've got the Cathayan Sentinels. This is just look at the size of this thing, Alex. Tell me more.
No,
These
są
are
ogromne,
great
to się
animated
zgadza.
Statues, and if legend is to be believed, they were all built by the Dragon Emperor himself many thousands of years ago.
To jest wkurzające, że jakby to jest to jest to jest jakby główna rzecz, którą chcieli pokazać.
Sentinels can be found across Grand Cafe, anywhere. They're made of various stones, so like granite sentinels watch over Sky Pass in the Mountains of Morn, obsidian sentinels defend the border against the Blood Nagas of Koresh, and warpstone sentinels formed from clay infused with warpstone dust sort of watch over the desert roads in the warpstone desert.
I tell you what's really cool as well, depending on which one you go for and how you paint your miniature, they actually get different rules in the game as well. So the terracotta sentinel can regenerate, while the granite sentinel might have a better armor save, and the warpstone sentinel is going to sort of really badly affect the nearby enemy troops, decreasing their toughness, which is
Fajne.
really horrible.
Malowanie ma znaczenie zdecydowe.
Behemoths, and they are just great fun. You definitely want to have one in your force.
No właśnie,
But let's have a look
jestem
at
ciekaw jak
another
duże to
centerpiece
jest w
model,
porównaniu
the Shigengan Lord
z czymś
of the
normalnym. O.
Spirit Longmar.
So yeah, these guys tend to be the descendants of the Celestial Dragon, or Dragon-blooded. They're natural sorcerers. They're just as skilled at wielding the
Fajne.
elemental winds as they are with a blade. They're gifted with
Coraz
weapons and
fajne.
armor from the forges of Wei Jin, and they fight from the front. These guys are no
Ręka
threat
fajna.
to combat.
Absolutely not. And they're
Fajne
basically
bitce.
warrior wizards.
I to już może być
So
żywica.
these, models can either be a hero or a lord choice, and depending on which one you go for, it could be a level 1 wizard or a level 2 wizard, and those can all be increased. So you could
Spirit
have a level
Longmar.
4 Shigengan Lord if you wanted to, all flying around in this beautifully sculpted Longmar flying beast. Just a wonderful.
Wersja fajna, niech pokażę tą rękę
both
jeszcze raz.
warrior and wizard general to lead your force, and a stunning centerpiece model.
No
too.
właśnie mi się wydaje
But
nawet
other choices for your heroes include the Gate Masters
dobre określenie.
of the Celestial Cities.
So these are the leaders
Gate
of the
Masters
Jade
of
Warriors.
Celestial
They've earned their position through skill and experience, and they must have served for at least a decade. And they're the
I czy wystawy
masters
są
of
dwaj?
offensive warfare and discipline.
Absolutely right. They're battle-hardened veteran leaders for your forces. Again, they could be heroes or or lords. You get 2 in the box, enough to make a fighters if you want to, including all the bits to make a battle standard bearer. And you can thank the Dragon Emperor for the fact that that is a transfer there, so you don't have to hand paint that yourself. These guys are wonderful leaders to have in your force to direct your models in play. Now, of course, alongside this, we are going to see the Grand Cathay Arcane Journal as well.
Indeed, so this has got the
Dobra, to podejrzewam, że to co widzieliśmy, to był plastik.
To
jest moja opinia. To wszystko od tej pory to był plastik.
Dragon Emperor who shared gunpowder with the Sky Titans and a long and storied friendship with Nehekara until events that we will not mention. It's
No dobra,
got
dam
the
sobie tak.
philosophy of Grand Cathay, the armies, the formation of the Great Warpstone Desert, the trade, exploration. There's a bit of a focus on the armies of
Ta książka musi być
Ming
grubsza, bo w teorii tych zasad Kafi nie ma dostępnych w korze. W ten sposób. W armii są fantasy, nie ma ich, o.
Yin and Yang. Yang Major study control of the winds of magic, producing bright and vibrant spells, whilst Yin is darker and more dangerous.
Both new magic laws which you can take for your wizards inside the Arcane Journal
Dobra,
as
wróćmy
well.
do ważnej
This
rzeczy.
Arcane Journal is a bit unusual. It's not maybe like the other Arcane Journals we've seen, as it's more of a sort of standard army list. So much like you see in
Asusami,
Forces of Fantasy or the
aserami,
Rebel Horde books,
HP.
that every single model that's coming alongside will have their full rules in here, full special rules for the army, unique weapons, magic items. Everything you need
Aplowe.
to build your Grand Cathay army in a game of Warhammer the Old World is in this book. So if you're going to collect an army, you need to get yourself a copy of this book.
Tak, czyli to jest jakby
But that's not
komplet
the
na
only
szczęście.
thing. We've got one more thing to show
Nie
you.
jest, nie ma nowej edycji Armies of.
Alex,
O,
who's this?
fajny, fajna,
Yin,
fajna, podoba mi się.
commander of the armies of the Great Bastion, ruler of northern Cathay from her seat of power in Nangao. So for centuries, she's fought against the servants of the dark gods, hobgoblins, barbarians, you name it. She was assigned to her position by the celestial dragon himself, and is often considered the favourite amongst her siblings due to the power she wields and duties she bears. And she's somewhat aware of it.
Czy
She's
ma
forever dealing with the lords of
ludzki,
Rangel because
sexy
even when
formę?
you are a
To jest
dragon,
najważniejsze.
politics and scheming never escape.
Now, I'm right in thinking Mao Ying's form is as a dragon, and
Yes.
Sometimes she can transform herself into the human form.
Nie ma.
To, I guess, less terrify her troops as well. What's important
Ma.
as well, I mean, look at that beautiful.
Co nas
model.
widzieliśmy
I
przecież.
think it's important to say as well, that model we've just seen, the dragon, Mao Ying,
Szczerze? Jakby
and
to
all
jest-
the models we've seen in this entire
To
range,
jest dobry damski model.
Indeed.
which is fantastic news. So it's going to be much easier to make your miniatures. Mao Ying is a powerful wizard. She can transform herself from a dragon to a human whenever she wants to. And she's a supreme matriarch of the Nangao, and so she can promote warriors around her to be her celestial dragon guard, making them better in a fight as well. Just a stunning centerpiece model for your army. That whole collection is just incredible.
Czy Fulgrima? No, myślę, że Fulgrima mógłby z tego zrobić.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, there we go. That is Grand Cathay coming soon for Warhammer: The Old World. A very exciting release.
Dorzucasz symbole tego.
Yeah, you guys,
Tylko to już może
make
być
sure
rzeczywiste na
we
przykład
show
właśnie.
everything. We just have. So there we go. Exciting stuff. We've got a bit of time now to go over to question corner. Ed, what's the chat
Ed.
talking about at the moment?
Well, first off, I would like to shout out a few of the locations people talked about earlier. We've got people from all over the UK, loads of states being listed across the US and Canada, Paris, Australia, Norway, all over the world. It's fantastic. I do have some old world related questions that I have got to though. How much of the release is in resin? Is a big one that we're being asked.
Well, everything we've just seen is plastic.
Ooh.
There we go. That's it. If there's other models coming in the future that we haven't seen, we don't know about at the moment. We don't know. But everything we've just seen is entirely plastic. Multi-part miniatures, loads of different options you can put on your miniatures. So there we go. How cool is that, right? That's pretty cool.
Next up, are those terracotta models the biggest models in Old World?
Might be,
They might
They
be.
might be.
The Sky Lantern is huge.
Yeah, the Sky Lantern stands really tall.
Nie liczy się.
It's on a brand new base as well, and then on a flying stand, and then that balloon on top of it. So at least height-wise, I think the Sky Lantern takes it.
Well, in fact, this answered my next question, which was, is the Sky Lantern attached to its base purely from the plastic parts? No, it's got the flying stand. Okay, final question then. Who are Cathay's biggest rivals in the Old World?
Ooh, they don't have a rival.
You know,
Arguably, they're amongst the oldest and most powerful kingdoms in the Old World.
but they particularly hate the forces of chaos.
Oh,
right?
they absolutely loathe chaos.
Okay. So if you wanted to have if there was a rival.
A czemu
if
nie
there
takiego nie
was
zrobili
something
inwazji? Czemu nie
that's
zaatakowali Imperium?
Warriors of Chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, cool. Anything else, Ed? Any more on the?
To daleko
for
jest?
now?
Lots of questions I think might get answered later on as we go on. Actually.
Fair enough. In that case, we'll move on to the next segment of our show, and it's time to move on from the old world and take a look at what's going on in Kill Team.
Kill Team. Focus Trembles. O! Kurde, dobra, to jest dobre preview. Kill Team, którego chcieliśmy. Tyranidzi kontra Skitari. Tego chcieliśmy. Znaczy chcieliśmy Tyranidów i Skitari. Niekoniecznie kontra. Czy nowa jednostka z tych dla nich? Potencjalnie. O, pokażę tylko tyle.
Here we go. Kill Team Typhon is the next release coming for Kill Team. And
Typhon?
it's extremely exciting.
Nie,
We
pokażę.
have got
U.
a big box here full of loads of miniatures and the
To
much
jest ten,
asked
to
for, much
jest
waited for
duży
truly
box.
specific Kill Team is here in the form of the Raveners. First of all, before we go any further, very quickly, Alex, where is Typhon set and who are the combatants?
So we are still on Vulcus. We're in High Basilicus. The Great Gun has fired, and when it does fire, the backdraft sort
Fajne.
of levels everything around it. One of the things that
fajne.
sometimes happens is that sinkholes open up, and when they do, that allows access below
Fajne,
the Great
podoba mi
Gun.
się, podoba mi
So
się.
what happens is the Adeptus Mechanicus send out these teams of sacrificial servitors
Proszę,
to
dałem na
go
fulla.
and find some of the archaeological bits that are hidden down there. But when they've done so, they've awoken some Raveners.
Oh dear, you don't want to wake Raveners. That's the worst thing to do. Because in this box we have the new Raveners Kill Team. 5 miniatures in the Ravenous kill team. You'll also notice there are some Hormigants in the background here too, but we'll talk about the Hormigants in just a second. But the Ravenous kill team is 5 models, and you can make quite different versions here. You could make them onto Ravener Warriors if you wanted to, as you see in 40k, but you can also make a Prime, as much as other things we're going to go over in a second. Alex, Raveners are powerful and terrifying, right?
Indeed, they're powerful, alive, driven by an all-consuming hunger. Reports say that sometimes they can be deposited on a planet, they burrow through rockcrete, armor, flesh, all with the same level of ease, and they can basically hide out for years, if not decades. And that seems to be what's happened here on Vulcus. As you mentioned, these can be built into several different sub-varieties. So you've got the Prime, who's a nodal hub for the brood and coordinates the rest of them. The Feltalon, with claws that pump toxins that can then be tracked. The Venom Spitter that, as you can probably guess, spits venom.
Makes sense, yeah.
Spoko, fajnie.
Which is a heavily muscled armored version, which can
Fajnie.
break through into
Bardzo
bunkers.
fajne. Podobają mi się, bardzo mi się podobają.
Tremor Scythe. It's got a hypersensory array to detect vibrations and chemical signatures like fear. And as you said,
I, jeśli to jest kill team,
warriors.
to każdego mogę coś generycznego.
Played Space Marine 2, you'll have come across the Raveners in there, and they burrow through the ground, and they're just so difficult to deal with. And that comes through in Kill Team as well. They actually have a rule where you draw a tunnel as the game continues, and your warriors and your Raveners can just pop in or pop out of that tunnel as the game continues.
Kreza mi się trochę nie podoba, szczerze.
If I tell Kill Team players these guys have an APL of 3 apiece, that makes them super good, and they can all fight twice in an activation. Which is terrifying too. Yeah, absolutely monstrous foes. Only I think 5 models is one of the smallest kill teams, but they are tough. They're real big and tough. Lots of wounds, lots of APL. Be terrifying.
Czy w zestawie
Maybe not quite as terrifying.
Są termoganty, które mogę wystawiać z nimi, jak rozumiem.
The
Mechanikus bardzo mi się
battle
podoba.
coming alongside them in the box set. These are an Adeptus Mechanicus kill team, and someone in the chat earlier on said, "I'd give my soul for an Adeptus Mechanicus kill team." We're going to send Slanesh knocking on your door anytime soon. But Alex, tell us about these guys.
So these are led by techno-archaeologists who specialise in hunting down our
stary model.
resources.
To on!
Alongside them, they've got the Servitor Underseers, that guy that seems to be floating there. Basically, these guys specialize in reprogramming and controlling servitors, translating the mission into complex
To jest fajne. Jakby nie jest taki jakby, o mój Boże, jaki porywający, ale nowy tech kapłan, to jest zawsze fajne.
So if you do happen to have one of these guys float by, be careful they don't steal them. So alongside them, you've got a whole host of various servitors. You can have gun servitors with servo stabilizers.
To są stare serwitory?
Techno-medics, which is a rare
Chyba nie.
willingness to heal the fleshy parts of servitors. Because you
Servitor
are on a
medic?
mission far from the forge. You know, sometimes needs must.
Needs must, right? Absolutely right. What's quite cool on the tabletop, these guys have a rule called the Noospheric Network, where they can transfer power from one server to another. One maybe shuts down and transferring as an APL over to another one, which is really good fun. Different servitors have different rules. We've got the Breacher servitors, you can knock holes through walls, and the gun servitors and combat servitors carry a huge array of exotic weaponry, including a heavy arc rifle, incendiary igniters, and phosphor blasters, which all sound terrifying. Great fun. Now, coming alongside those two in the box is the dossier, of course, which is where you would find the full rules for both the kill teams, but also has really loads of extra stuff in there as well. You see all the tokens and things, the cards that come in the box. Inside the dossier, you'll find the Joint Ops and Adversary Ops mission packs in here as well. The Joint Ops is really good fun. That's where the Hormigants and the Rippers that you get in the box that come into play as well, because there is a tree campaign for playing through the narrative of the Tyranid invasion on High Basilicus, and the Hormigants are your NPO, non-player operatives, that you get in there with full data cards and rules for using those to fight against with your friends, which is quite good fun. But also in the box, people have noticed, we showed off on Warhammer Community a little while ago, the Tyranid Infestation Terrain Kill Zone upgrade. Tell me what we've got here.
So you get scorpions, capillary towers, gestation sacks, shards, spewer growths, underbrood mounds, capillary roots, spore vents, and brood nests. There's a lot. Chimneys and vents pump out spores. Capillary towers act as conduits, so when the Hive Fleet arrives, that's where they're basically going to get all the biomatter up from. And gestation sacks, you can probably guess.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's such great terrain and a really nice way of really adding a lot of flavour to your kill zone. And in standard games, they provide light cover or heavy cover, as you might expect. But actually, in the joint op missions, they're also used as objective markers for you to investigate or destroy, or spawn points for Tyranid reinforcements to come out of, which is terrifying as well. It's just a beautiful set of terrain, and it's really nice to see some sort of classic Tyranid terrain from yesteryear made into a plastic set for your battlefield as well.
Jest taki teren, który już istniał wcześniej w Forge'ie, na prawie dole.
So there we go. That is Kill Team Typhon coming very soon.
No
Got
pokażę
a
dużo
little bit of
pudełko.
time for some questions again from
A,
the chat.
Bo to
Ed,
wyglądało jakby to
anything else
był
we wanna
Hive Storm,
fire our
a
way?
nie dwóch
Well,
band.
obviously, the big one is for both kill teams. Are we going to see rules for them in 40k?
So right now, of course, we do have rules for Raveners in the Tyranno Codex already, which you can use these models to represent. Are we going to see full rules for both kill teams in their entirety? Well, we're not sure yet, but keep your eyes on Warhammer Community, and there may well be more news coming on those soon. Yeah, watch Warhammer Community for that one, I reckon. Anything else, Ed?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions about the Imperial Knights Codex and Chaos Knights Codex. Just keep watching. Obviously, when we get to 40k, we'll cover those. Is this part of a Hive Fleet Typhon offensive in the lore?
Ooh.
Ooh, so as I mentioned before, basically the Raveners could be deposited on a planet well ahead of the Hive Fleet and can stay there for years, if not decades. So it could be a precursor to an invasion, but it also might have been, you know, a little offshoot. So we don't yet know.
Okay.
Fingers crossed it's
Interesujące.
not a full invasion there, right? For the sake of the Imperium.
Jak tam?
Fingers crossed it is a full invasion.
You stay on your side, sir. Anything else, Ed, that we want to go over?
Yeah, final thing about just obviously we've not had Raveners for quite some time. In terms of build options, are we able to see just a full unit of normal Raveners? Is there an
Tu
ability
mnie
to build
zagięli mnie.
each one? Basically, what we're going to do with that kit.
So basically, the kit you can build, you could build all 5 Raveners as a Ravener warrior, which is essentially the Ravener you
Spoko,
can see
to dobrze.
in a sort of
To
Ravener
właśnie
squad
lubię
in
w Kill Teamie.
40,000 game. There's also full rules for Ravener warriors in Kill Team 2. So if you wanted to build 5 Ravener warriors, you could use that as your kill team, no probs at all. As for the other options, you get the
tu jest
to build
więcej
one of
opcji.
each. So
Też
one
mówili.
prime, one wrecker, one. I forgot the names of the other ones. One of each of the other ones you can build there as well. So not multiples of those. Okay.
That's everything for now.
Excellent. In that case, it's time to move on now. What we got next?
Indeed, we're heading to the mortal realms.
There we go.
Dobra, idę w Sigmar.
Action-packed battles in Shaiish, the realm of death, with the new Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead gaming deck, Sand and Bone.
Opcje broni byłyby
Lead
fajne.
your forces to victory in fun, fast-paced games using streamlined rules. Each Spearhead box contains all the miniatures you need to take command of a balanced and thematic army, with rules and updates available to download for free online. Obliterate your foes from a distance, impose a grisly tithe on them, devour them whole through gluttony,
Preacher
or
Servitor,
shred them with
Technomedic
cold-blooded
Servitor,
savagery.
Autoproxy
The
Servitor,
choice is yours
Combat
with four
Servitor.
new spearheads. March forth into the realm
Spoko.
of death and prepare for
To trochę
battle
wygląda
with
jakby to był większy
spearhead,
box.
Sand and Bone.
Ooh, very
dobra.
exciting.
Na tym
this
preview, które
is
pokazywali.
Spearhead Sand and Bone. This is basically the new expansion for Spearhead with a whole load of new and exciting additions. You find 2 areas.
O, w sumie rację,
of
bo
the
sobie
realm of
że nie
death,
Letis.
double death.
Pewnie o to chodzi.
Yes, so you've got Ossia and Delorum. Basically, you've got 2 sides of that board with a whole new set of scenery. Now, I notice here we've got the Necropolis, Blood, Delusion, Grief, and Night, the 5 Mortarchs that we know of, and they basically reflect sites of ancient power, dread
What is it,
temples,
Zanzia?
those Mortarchs, but they're not set out in the same way that we've seen before.
No, you're right. There's a nice little variation between the Fire and Jade, the previous games as well, to give you really
Nie,
good
nie są
variation
w Bone
on your
Reaperze.
games, depending on which realm
Nie,
you
to wszystko to
fight
jest,
in.
to
You'll
jest tylko
also
zestaw
notice
tego, to
that,
jest,
on
to,
this
to
board in
jest,
front of us,
to
the
jest
green one
nowość.
here, you've got one huge objective in the middle with the other 4 smaller ones around it, which makes that central one super important and exciting to play over. And if you look on the top left of the purple board there, that one's only got 4 objectives on it, but 2 of them are super close in the center of the board, so there's going to be a big old
Nie
scrap
może
there as
być.
well.
Na
Both
koniu?
boards really sort of want you to get into the action and fight, which is great fun. You also notice on the screen as well, we've got some new terrain features here as well. This is the new
Dobra,
mystical terrain
obejrzmy,
being
posłuchajmy.
added, which can either
Bądźmy
be
profesjonalni, a nie.
set
A,
up on the board to
przepraszam,
start the
chcę
game,
być
or
profesjonalnych.
maybe brought in through one of the twists in the game as well. We've got the Crypt of Blood, where your fighters can take an unholy draft and try and best their foes at combat, but at what cost? And the icon of New Lamia, which is the statue there, which you can sort of call upon the veiled promises of the icon.
Interesujące,
and maybe
nudne,
it'll help you,
nieciekawe.
maybe it won't. Bit of a big
Było
one.
już,
There's some nice
słyszeliśmy.
cool options in here as well as new updated battle tactics and commands and twists and everything to really make you feel like you're playing in the realm of death. So it's a very different experience to Spearhead as it is right
Dzisiaj
now.
jest
Great
czwartek.
fun.
Dobrze.
Definitely want to get your hands on. But
Muszę się
alongside
umieścić w
this
czasie i
box set, we've
przestrzeni.
also got some new spearheads coming as well.
Indeed. So the first one we're going to have a look at is the Ogre
O,
Mob Tribe Scrap
to jest
Guard.
interesujące.
Now, basically, you're going to have your hunter in
Spearheady
the
poza
center with
kolejnością.
a bunch of noblars around, as well as those 8 iron guts. Now, they pack an absolute punch, don't they?
They really
Fajne,
do.
fajnie,
They really do.
interesujące.
They're terrifying. Don't get anywhere near them. But yeah, a really hitty spearhead, that one.
Tylko znowu,
We've
wszystko
also
stare
got the
modele jakby co.
Seraphon Sunblood Prowlers as well. For the Seraphon fans, who are these guys?
Indeed.
O,
So
widzę,
these
po raz
guys
kolejny
have the Hunters
Warcry
Warriors
wraca.
that are able to scoot forward, and then you've got that big block of Saurus warriors, all led by that Sunblood pack.
Yeah, terrifying in combat. The hunters will actually definitely go for nipping around and grabbing your battle tactics. But if you don't fancy being quite so mobile, you could
No i
instead go
zestaw
hit
Thunderlorda.
the
Jezu, ale
platoon
fajne.
and just shoot people off the table with all your guns and your crossbows.
Indeed, there are mobile
O,
gunnery
panie.
brigade, basically with 2 elements. You've got a
Gdyby
load
to
of
wyszło
forward, move
kiedyś
up the
wcześniej.
forward, and then you've got those 2 units of free-kill fusiliers that basically form an impenetrable
To jest stały
line
produkt,
of
to kiedyś
defense.
kupię. Bo
They're definitely
potrzebuję
even better. They get
strzelców,
better on their saves if they
potrzebuję
remain
bastionu,
vacant, but of course you
a
don't score
dodatkowi
any
tropiciele
by
nigdy się nie
doing that.
ładują.
But I tell you what, if you want to go for a smaller, more elite force, take a look at the Ossiarch Bone Reapers Mortizan Elite.
No,
It's just
fajne.
9 models, but what 9
Też bardzo
models they
fajne.
are.
Oh yeah, when we talk about
Bardzo-
sort
bardzo
of the
tani, żeby
Ossiarch,
zacząć.
you're usually thinking about rank after rank of formidable troops, but the Mortisans of the Order of Ossifectors will assemble these kind of cohorts when they want to improve their bone shaping skills in battle. And as you said, it's a highly elite force.
Yeah, there's not a model there that hasn't got at least health 4, and most of them have a 3+ save as well. So these guys are tough. There's not many of them, so good luck trying to score your battle tactics with those guys, because you're going to have to really think about how you do it. As a tactician, might have to with the Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
Yes.
Ciekawe, czy
That's not
postawy
all there
wypadną
is
w
for
takim
the
razie.
Age of Sigmar. We've got the Scourge of Gairan. Now, this is an
comes.
exciting new seasonal event building up to the launch of the General's Handbook in summer. Now, on the run-up to that release, there's going to be daily articles on Warhammer Community with short stories in video form, along with new rules updates. These could be regiments,
Interesujące.
battle formations, enhancement, but every faction is getting at least one updated War Scroll card for an existing unit.
That's
Interesujące.
right. They're going to be match play legal from the release of the new General's Handbook, which is going to be the climax of the Scourge of Gairan season. We see that when
Oh.
the General's Handbook arrive. It's that time of year.
Naleśniczki.
Here it is. And the difference here with the General's Handbook this time round is, rather than just being a book, it's actually a complete box inside which is your 72-page book. You've got your battle plan and battle tactics cards.
Fajne, fajne, tylko będzie drogie.
Manifestation and War Scroll cards as well. We've got the 6 objective markers in there too. It's a complete product for the Warhammer Age of Sigmar General, which you want to get your hands on. Tell me where we are for this season.
So this is War in the Jade Realm. Gairan is sometimes considered sort of a place of abundance, with Hammerhall Gaira being the breadbasket of Sigmar's domain.
Wyra?
However, the
No,
realm of
faktycznie.
life is
Tak.
rife with
Zawsze mylę
disease, hellish
ten
minds,
wymiar
material
bestii z
forest
wymiarem
spirits,
życia.
monstrous insects, rapidly changing seasons. Nowhere is safe.
That sounds awful. Sounds like a perfect place to have your battles of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Now, in terms of how the rules are going to change for this season, well, we're not going to tell you too much right now. In fact, we're going to ask you to just go back to the Warhammer Community website. In the future, there'll be some hints here and there and some build-up over the Scourge of Gairan to find out what's in the General's Handbook. Keep your eyes on the Warhammer Community website and definitely sign up to that newsletter as well. With that done, it's time to take a few more questions from the chat. Ed, what are folks saying
Ed.
out there in the world of Chatland?
Okay, I've combined a couple into one here, which is Fire and Jade still going to be supported, and will old Spearhead boxes still be allowed to play in the new Spearhead rules?
100% yes to both. So Fire and Jade is absolutely going to still be available. You can download the rules for free on Warhammer Community
Okay.
already. You can get the rules in the Ultimate Starter Set as well for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Will your old Spearheads still be usable? Yep, absolutely no problem at all. It's an expansion to the game. It's not a replacement, so you can use whatever you like to in the game. So just there's more ways to play Spearhead, which is great fun.
Nie ufam im.
We've got another great question. One of our viewers has noticed that the Seraphon are led by a unit rather than a single character. How does that work?
Indeed, do you want to take this one again?
Yeah, okay, so yes, you're right. Some of the we've seen some of the spearheads being led by units. We saw it first with the Gloomspike Gits. We're being led by that.
To nie jest takie dziwne, nie rozumiem.
Snarl boss on his snarl.
Nie, nie.
We've
To
also
znaczy,
now got the
one już były wcześniej za darmo. Zresztą Kill Team jest bardzo dostępny, jeśli chodzi o pod tym względem.
As well. Some of them work in a different way. So the ogres sort of is a hunter with a few tokens around him, with the little models representing tokens and things to put down. Whereas the Sunblood pack, the Saurus, are actually 3 different models. Now, they actually only have 3 health apiece, so together they make up a 9 health unit, but they're still pretty tough. Yeah, that's how they work. It's actually really nice to see. I'm a big Warhammer Underworlds fan, and it's really nice to see some of the Warhammer Underworlds warbands being brought out and used in Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Tak, to się w pełni zgadzam. Jakby łączenie Underworlda z Sigmarem, bo zawsze byłem fanem
Anything
tego.
else, Ed?
We've got a lot of 40k questions still coming through.
Oh,
which I
well,
feel
maybe
is into the next
we've got
section.
time.
Maybe we'll go on to some
Dokładnie.
4K later on.
Warcry, Warcry, gdzie jest Warcry?
But before we do, there's more stuff coming in the future for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So let's take
Nie,
a
to
look ahead
40
at what's coming in the future.
właśnie
So,
przeciwnie.
coming now, we've got the Soulblight Gravelords, followed on by that Spearhead expansion, Sand and Bone, and then the General's Handbook.
Taking a look a bit further forwards into the future, we have the Ideneth, Deepkin and Nighthaunt are going to be up very soon with the Blades of Khorne and the Caldron Overlords floating our way
Prawie
as well.
widzieliśmy
And then
wszystko.
looking even further into the future, ooh, I wonder what that could be.
That could be one of. I got at least 3 things in my mind.
Widzieliśmy
But
to
I
już.
tell you what, guys, if you're out there, if you've got an idea of what that could be, let us know in the chat, and we'll see what you think. That's a good one, actually. That could be.
Yeah.
I've got at least 2 in my mind. It could definitely be.
Malakit,
Right,
król
with that
Nagalotu.
done, it's time to take a move forwards into the 41st millennium. And boy, have we got a lot of things to show you for
yes.
Warhammer 40,000. Let's start off then with the chapter approved deck. It's that season. We've seen the General's Handbook already. It's time for the chapter approved deck 2025 to 2026. Now, this season, we're going to see this new deck, which functionally works the same as the current chapter approved deck, but with updates to missions, objectives, and formatting. So, going to be really good.
O,
to get hold of.
markerki.
Crucially here, it actually includes missions specifically written for incursion games, which are 1,000-point games with unique deployment and updated muster rules for smaller games. For example, it's a rule of 2 for 1,000-point games with up to 4 battle lines instead. That's going to be quite fun. We can also see on the screen something called Asymmetric War as well, another new format which we've introduced for the chapter approved deck, where attacker and defender have different deployment zones and different aims within the game. So it's a much more unpredictable experience, and it's designed for 2,000 points and above. Instead of secret missions this time round, we've got challenger cards in the chapter approved deck. A challenger is a player trading by at least 6 victory points who can choose a challenger card or draw one. And these new cards provide a stratagem and a mission. Players can choose to complete the mission or use the stratagem, but not both. So similar mechanic to Spearhead if you guys have ever played that before. So nice little way of getting that
Interesujące.
player back into the game. And crucially here, this deck is designed to have lots of different ways to play 140,000 match play, to give you real replayability.
Interesujące. Szczerze?
And to make
Interesujące.
it much more exciting and fun when you play them. So there's lots
Jak,
of
dla mnie interesujące nie to,
which is really, really cool.
tylko
So there we go. That's the chapter approved deck.
krucjata tego.
Coming real soon. Make sure you get your hands on one of those when it drops.
However, that's not all that's coming for
There's loads
Warhammer
coming.
40,000.
There's so much coming.
We've also got the World Eaters.
Here we go.
So they're coming with the Gorestorm Slaughterpack Battle Force, including a whole host of 8-bound jackals, as well as the Slaughterbound, that brand new hero. So this guy, where 8-bound has sort of 8 demons trapped within him, is basically taken on a bloodthirster that's given him exceptional strength. Along with them, they've got their brand new codex. And within that is obviously going to be all of your
Panie,
rules and background.
Bloodthirstera na solo?
The Scalathrax, all the warbands and characters, as well as the Red Angel's Gate, where Angron first
Fajne.
manifested on Armageddon.
You're absolutely right. We've got a Slaughterbound. This is the new hero who's going to be coming into play for the World Eaters. A monstrous hero who can lead 8-bound or exalted 8-bound into battle and is so angry, Alex, that he rages at them and returns slain models to life.
O panie.
Angry he can't die.
So absolutely
O
right.
panie.
The Codex is coming as well, of course, including 5 new detachments. You can include Cornate demons in your army, much like the Emperor's Children could include Slaneshi demons in the army. And one of the detachments is the Khorne Demonkin, where you can use an enhancement to have a Lord on a Juggernaut leading Blood Crushers and Flesh Hounds as a unit, which is just great fun. And there we get, you know what? Talking of Cornate demons. Well, we've got a little something to say, and it's over to Ed in Apology Corner.
Yeah, so Karanak should be in the Codex Demons Index. He's not, and we know that everyone wants it, so have no fear, he will be back.
Yay!
Be both in that and also in an updated index at the same time.
There
Jej.
we go. Good news.
Karanak
for you,
powrócił.
Cornelian fans. Our apologies, guys. We're going to fix that mistake when that book drops. So thanks for that patience on that one. But right, keeping on the chaos theme, what else is coming?
Indeed. We're going
So-
to see the Death Guard. So the Death Guard, likewise, have the Poxwrought Vector Battle Force with a Fetid Blight Drone, Lord of Poxes,
Fajny
Plague
też.
Crawler, Blight Lord Terminators, Plague Marines, a whole host of disease-ridden bodies.
Bardzo
along
fajny
with the
zestaw,
Lord
jakby
of
co.
Poxes. So these are the masters of airborne contagion, constantly pumping out a foul, fetid smog with that miasmic turbine on his back, and it acts to both screen their advance and as a weapon.
Yeah, it's horrible, that thing on his back as well. He basically doesn't let enemies too far away from him see him at all. That gigantic sword on his back is a great plague blade. And let me tell you, when I tell you it's one of the most powerful combat weapons in 40k, it's great. Again, the codex includes lots of detachments. You can have Nurgle demons in the book, 6 detachments in there, including one that's very demons heavy, and one that lets you have an unending horde of poxwalkers, just as you'd hope to see, which is cool. And you know what? Let's round off the unholy triumvirate of chaos. We've got the Thousand Suns.
Yes. So they've also got the Warp Flame Thrallband Battle Force with a bunch of sorcerers, Scarab Occult Terminators.
Ale bez sensu wyglądają, ale mi się nie podobają, ale
You can
robicie...
see there at the front, those Sektar robots. So these are mechanical constructs with features of ancient prospering spirits or tutelary demonic servants, and they're saturated in sorcerous power with runes of misdirection and illusion. One of their key features are their psychically controlled bodyguards. They're threaded through with spells of prophecy.
Ale
so you can
wyglądają
essentially
paskudnie!
foresee attacks on their master, able to jump in the way of bullets or move them out of the way.
They're actually also able to foresee where the enemy's going to be as well, which allows this unit
Kompletnie nie jestem fanem, kompletnie.
free, which is terrifying, especially when they can be armed with heavy warp flamers as well
Liczyłem na
as
coś
missile
większego.
racks
Liczyłem na
and
dredy.
melter guns. These things are terrifyingly tough.
Dostałem co?
Vehicles as well, which is
Dostałem
cool. because
Dread
one of the
Light.
attachments in the Thousand Sun book lets you take loads of vehicles, so you can have a robot heavy force if you want to. Great fun. Of course, the Zinch demons are in the codex as well, as you'd expect from these books at this point.
Nie jestem fanem.
And in the Crusade
Thousand
section, we've got
Sunsi.
awesome scheme with the Great
Thousand
Cosmic
Sunsi.
Crusade as well.
Dostali
And
bardzo.
talking of the codexes, we've seen already the Emperor's Children having that absolutely beautiful limited edition codex. And you know what? We're doing the same with the 3 others we're releasing as well. Of course, on the screen you can see the World Eaters. We've got the Death Guard and Thousand Suns coming too. These books, Alex, are absolutely incredible, aren't they?
To brzmi jakby wychodziły wszystkie 3 naraz. To mnie bardzo cieszy.
Cool little bits of memorabilia, that limited edition codex. However, they look cool on screen.
They really do.
But in person, physically, they're much better.
Right.
And Ed, you've managed to get your hands on them, haven't you?
Well, yeah,
Whoa,
I'm
duża.
going gone today. The studio wasn't occupied, so I went in. I thought I'd nick them. So we've got this
Fajne.
beautiful slipcase that comes apart. A nice, almost torn cover. Got 3 parts
Bardzo
of the
fajne.
book.
Te książki są bardzo fajne,
We've
tylko
got
drogie jak
the codex
fix.
itself with gilt-edged gold pages. Some really nice artwork in each piece as well. So every book's going to come with 5 pieces of relevant themed artwork for your god. Those are gorgeous. I've had a cheeky look at them myself. And then we obviously have a large slipcase with gilt-edged data cards, stratagems. We've got our metal tokens for objective markers. And finally, we have this really nice solid metal medallion that we can make. And they all magnetize together to form one large metal medallion. That is so weighty in hand. I feel like I want to use this as the objective marker instead of the
Fajne.
smaller ones.
Jakby to było,
Can't help
na
feeling
to, że to jest
that
jakby,
completing
wiecie,
the
3 cale
quadrant
wokół.
there of the medallions live here in the studio is going to summon some sort
I
of
do
bloodthirster.
feel like I've got power coursing through me somehow.
Nie będzie,
It's the
zobaczcie, nie będzie.
adrenaline for getting my hands on all
5
four of
stów to
They
jest...
are absolutely stunning.
5 stów to jest
There's
rozsądna
gonna be
cena.
a very limited edition. They are going to be only
Fajne.
1600
Dokładna
copies
wersja
of
lepsza.
each available when they go on release. So if you want one of those, or even all 4 of those, make sure you get one as soon as you possibly can, because I reckon they'll be hot.
Oh, yes.
They'll be selling like hotcakes. So there we go. That's the limited edition Chaos Codex is coming very soon. But I've had enough of talking about Chaos Filth. We've got some other cool stuff coming. It's time to go a little bit Imperium, as the Grey Knights are seeing their update here too. Alex, what have we got here?
Indeed. So this is the Sanctic Conclave Battle Force with the Grandmaster and Nemesis Dread Knight, units of Brotherhood Terminators and Strike Squads. So
nowy
they're also
charakter?
getting their new codex, chocked full of all the background. The Grey Knights are basically super anti-demonic forces with their armor threaded through with psychoactive circuitry, and the Dread Knights in particular will
Jak
make
nie dostałem
combat
nic
the most
nowego, to będzie
prolific
śmiesznie.
monsters, namely greater demons. Now this is an update to that Dread Knight kit.
A,
It
to
is
jest nowy
indeed.
Dread Knight.
We've had the rules for a Grandmaster in a Dread Knight for a little while, but now we've actually got a full
to
kit to
przepraszam.
represent the most
Przepraszam.
heroic heroes of the
Przepraszam.
Grey Knights in a Dread
Przepraszam.
Knight ready to fight those greater demons with weapon upgrades, including the Subliminator, the huge Psychic Melter, and a Nemesis Mace, which is what this thing has in common. Massive Psychic Blunt Force Trauma, which can destroy enemies. There's also a Nemesis Flail, which is sort of like a Morning Star version as well, which is coming here as well. So we've got new weapons of that guy and a great new addition kit. It's basically like the Nemesis Dread Knight kit with an upgrade sprue in there as well to make it into a Grey Knight
Spoko.
Greymaster,
To
which
jest-
is just cool. In terms of the codex, Grey Knight players can expect to see
Ale
rules like
Dread Knight
Teaching
fajnie
Infinity
wygląda.
still there, slightly
Jest bardzo
tweaked.
fajny.
We've got 5 detachments in there covering lots of different army styles, including the Sanctic Spearhead, which covers vehicles and walkers. So you can have an army with Dread Knights and Dreadnoughts if you wanted to, which is great. And in Crusade, you can stave off Chaos incursions with the aid of vision sent to you by the Prognosticars, which is cool.
No wiem, że Barbie Carrier, to jest dobry Barbie Carrier. Ładnie wygląda. I ma aurolkę.
The Grey Knights have foreseen an invasion of a world that has previously been invaded by the World Eaters.
Aha, of course. This is the new Crusade book, Armageddon.
Yes.
And Armageddon is a war zone that will be familiar to many veteran Warhammer players. Alex, why is Armageddon such a big deal?
Well, it's been the site of many horrific invasions. Now, the world stands
Yannick!
directly in the path of one of the Blood Crusades. It's splintered on all Celt territories in Golgotha. However, they've descended to plague the whole sector. Now, the amount of blood that has been spilt has basically fed the Red Angel's Gate, where Angron first emerged into Armageddon, and as such, the
Yannick.
Conqueror has heeded the call and arrived. So the World Eaters have descended to
Yannick.
Armageddon itself, but they're
Yannick.
faced with regiments of the Death Corps, Logan Grimner's Space Wolves, High Marshal Helbrecht's Black Templars, and the Grey Knights who have foreseen this invasion.
This is so cool.
Ja
What a
pierdolę, czy
great
dobrze
way to kick
usłyszałem?
off a new war zone. And this actual book itself is a Crusade book. And if you've never played Crusade before, it's a wonderful way of linking
ja
games together in a narrative sense.
dobrze
So
usłyszałem, że oni włożyli klik
get enhancements or your units get
do
upgrades as
Armagedonu.
you go along. And it's a really cool
Ja
way of playing
pierdolę.
40k. If you've never played, I seriously recommend. We're playing at the moment.
Oh, yes.
And it's great fun. You can either choose to defend Armageddon, to attack Armageddon, or perhaps be one of the third party there of just not quite sure which side you're going to represent. Maybe you'll decide
Szybko wydaje
who
te
you're on.
krucjaty,
And
szczerze.
there's a tree campaign
Między
inside the book
Pariah
with
Nexus
all
a
those factions
Nachmund
as
Gauntlet
they
był
sort of take,
bardzo dużo
the battle to the
odstęp
enemy
czasu,
over the course of
a teraz
Armageddon.
Gauntlet dostaliśmy miesiąc
It's
temu.
great. We've got Crusade badges in there. There's a focus on epic heroes, mighty deeds, fighting hellscapes as the barriers between warp and reality
A to też wygląda na przyszły miesiąc,
merge.
więc...
And what's really cool as well is there's rules for unbound demons flocking to your game as sort of non-player characters sort of running in and just taking both sides and just causing complete havoc as there's a demonic concursion on Armageddon, which is just great. So yeah, seriously, Armageddon Crusade coming very soon. Hey, do you know what? Armageddon does sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
It sounds this cool.
Planet Armageddon.
Jarik, co się z tą
Imperial
stało? Gdzie
leadership
jesteś?
Plagued by invasion and constant bloody
Gazgun! Jak pozwoliłeś zabić Jarika?
Now the Blood God's followers swarm across the planet's ravaged surface.
Angron, co ty robisz? Gdzie jest
On
Jarik?
the brink of annihilation,
I
the
Yarik.
world's defenders issue a desperate plea for aid.
For Jarik.
Will anyone answer their call?
Like Jarik. Ładne. 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 Paskudne. Spoko. Paskudne. A. Okazka ładna.
The Adeptus Astartes must halt the demonic tide.
Janik!
That was incredible,
Wow.
and
Dobry
everybody
zwiastun.
there will have
Szczerze, dobry
noticed
zwiastun. Nie
a
spodziewałem się tego.
whole new raft of Space Wolves.
Oh, they're here. The Space Wolves are here. We've been waiting for them for a
Oh,
long
yes.
time. And it's great to see a fantastic new range of miniatures coming your way for the Space Wolves. Let's take a look because, I mean, look at these.
Ale
It's
piesły,
just-
piesły małe.
We've waited and waited, and here
Małe
they are.
piesły.
This, in particular, what we're seeing right now is the Space Wolves Army launch set coming to you soon. Included
Ale
in
sad-
there is the new Wolf Priest, the new Battle Leader, the new Head Takers, the Blood Claws, and the Grey Hunters. We're all getting new miniatures there. We'll talk about all of these. They got the new Codex in there as well. Oh wow. What a force. And let's have a look at some of the models.
Multiki z tarczami są fajne.
shall we?
Bardzo
Starting
fajne.
off with
Nie jestem
the
graczem
Wolf
Wolfów, ale
Priest.
bardzo ładni są.
Now, my compatriot Simon here tells me that aside from a random Games Day miniature some 20 years ago, this is the first time Games Workshop has done a Wolf Priest miniature, so it's great to see.
Jest bardzo
And I'm
fajny.
right in thinking this is a kind of mix between an apothecary and a chaplain.
Indeed, their duties are to observe the warring tribes of Fenris and to sort of select potential aspirants. They harvest gene seed, they tend to the wounded, but they're also spiritual advisors, preparing their
Kapitan jest
brothers
fajny
for
też.
mental and
Jeśli
spiritual
kapitan będzie
trials.
It's really nice.
multipartem,
This model's actually got quite
no
a
właśnie,
few
Biki.
options here as well. You've got head options, helmeted, bare heads as well. In
To
game,
pokażcie bareheaded.
you can restore wounds to units that you've joined, and also add one to melee wound rolls, the Litany of Hates. It's got rules from both the Apothecarium and the Chaplaincy as well, which is just cool.
Czyli albo,
Also in the
albo?
box set, we've got another leader, the Wolfguard Battle Leader. Might be my favourite model of the box, this one.
Jest bardzo ładny.
It's so cool. Again, lots of options here. Helmeted,
To jest
bare
dokładnie tego,
heads,
co
different weapon
potrzebowaliśmy
options as
mojego
well. Who are these Wolfguard?
małego Leona.
So these guys are members of the Wolfguard, and they're deputized into leading warriors on the battlefield. They're essentially the equivalent of a Space Marine lieutenant. They're typically temporary positions, but you know, a war can last years, decades. So temporary is an odd term to use.
Panie
They've
kapitan.
got access to ancient and powerful relics from the Great Company's armory, and when the Wolf Lord falls, it is from amongst these Wolfguard that his replacement is found. So giving them experience in these leadership roles is invaluable.
You want these guys leading your units into combat, specifically your Wolfguard head takers, your Grey Hunters, or your Blood Claws, which is the next new unit we're going to have a look at here. Look at these. What a great update on an iconic Space Wolf unit. These guys are the sort of the newer Space Wolves. Loads of options all over the kit, including different heads and things as well. They're wearing slightly lighter armor than other Marines as well, so they look like they're a bit newer. That suits their background,
Yeah,
right?
they're young and impetuous, and they need to
Fajni
prove
są.
themselves, temper themselves in battle.
Oczywiście
Like all chapters, training is
są
hard and
czarni.
extensive, but battlefield
To
experience
jest
is the most valuable. And so the Blood Claws are
dziwne u
not
Space Wolfów,
discouraged from taking
ale jak wiemy, mają
the
tam jakieś tam
That's pretty cool. Like now,
dziwne...
as Blood Claws have been in the past, these guys are combat centric, carrying their Astartes chainsword and their bolt pistol. But the big news here is like all
Leony
Space
na
Wolf
Fenrisie,
infantry
więc
in
czemu nie?
Tacticus armor, they are movement 7. So they're faster than other Space
Ah.
Wolves. They're desperate to get into combat.
nudne.
They're cunning hunters as well, allowing them to reroll ones to wound. And if the target is in range of an objective, they can reroll all wounds, which is pretty cool. Just like the Grey Hunters, who are the other iconic Space Wolf unit, which we are seeing new models for here as well. Again, all plastic, loads of options for the pack leader, lots of options all over the kit to really personalize your Marines, which is perfect for the Grey Hunters, as they're more the veteran Marines, aren't they?
Yeah, so they've survived long enough as Blood Claws to become Grey Hunters, and this is when the Canis Helix is really presenting a bit more apparently. So they've got grey hairs, fangs, rougher skin, all of those like canine developments that we love with the Space Wolves. They're really closely bonded units, so they work independently or as part of a larger force. They're stalwart and reliable and hold that sort of fire akin to the Blood Claws. They're a core part of your Space Wolf force.
Fajni są,
Core.
podobają mi
These
się.
guys
Jakby
are great
są
at
dokładnie tacy,
everything. They
jak
have
jacy
Astartes
powinni być.
chainsword, so they can pack a punch in combat. Each Marine carries a bolt carbine, allowing them to fire up to 3 shots apiece. The pack leader can have a power fist or a power weapon. But the big news here, as well as the fact that they can move 7 inches like the Blood Claws, is that this unit are OC3 apiece, which makes them absolutely perfect for holding and capturing objectives
Nie wiem,
from
czy
the
jestem
enemy.
fanem.
They are absolutely core, and I hate to admit it, but they might be one of the best core battle line units in the Imperial forces. So yeah, get your hands on, or your claws on some of these if you possibly can. Up next, we've got the elites of the force, the head takers, and their hunting wolves.
So the head takers tend to be from those Wolfguard who still retain some of their youthful recklessness, and they specialize in hunting down enemy champions, beasts, warlords. Those Fenrisian wolves with them are closely
Podoba mi
bonded
się,
to them.
jak
And
wypuszczają
it's so
aktualnie
strong
Space Marinesów.
that it's almost as if they act as one, with like an instinctive coordination.
These are elite infantry, similar to Blade Guard veterans you might recognise from the Space Marines. They have loads of options. There's 9 interchangeable head options in the kit for your bare helmeted or your bare heads or your helmeted. There's lots of bare heads.
I wielkie panie są modelami,
which is
więc
great,
wchłaniają
because that
ci
really suits them.
obrażenia.
You can give these guys different
No
weapon
właśnie,
options. They
jakby
can
nie,
come with a
bardzo mi się nie
mastercrafted
podoba, jak
power
zasady
weapon
mówią.
shield or
Ten
a
movement
pair of
7
mastercrafted power
jest
weapons
bardzo
for 6
wkurzający.
attacks
Po co?
apiece.
Na co to?
The head takers and hunting wolves fight as separate units on the battlefield,
A nie.
which is quite interesting. So you can run them around separately. You were talking about the sort of going for the big monsters and the champions there. Before the game, you select one enemy unit to be your quarry, and they get devastating wounds and precision when targeting that quarry. And when they've killed it, they just select a new unit and a new quarry, which is terrifying. Of course, inside this box, We're also seeing the Space Wolves Codex supplement as well. Like I said, this is in conjunction with the Space Marines Codex as well, but it contains full background on Space Wolves faction, the colour section with loads of cool shots of the miniatures, army rules, everything you expect from the Codex, of course. There are 3 detachments inside, each with their own theme and their own saga to complete. Complete your saga and get additional rules, which is really cool. And in Crusade, there are new Oathsworn campaigns, expanding on those in Space Marines Codex. So the Space Wolf theme saga to complete, earn deeds of making, exclusive battle traits, scars, agendas, everything else you expect from Crusade as well.
Indeed, my favourite little aspect often of these codex is the little asides, the little addendums that are added to it. And there's a quote from an Inquisitor here that I think really sums them up. They are deviants all, these Space Wolves, uncouth and lacking in honour, informal and without discipline. They respond with contempt to direct orders, scoff at Lord Guilliman's Codex Astartes, and treat the orders of Imperial commanders
Ja
with
jestem...
contempt. And I think that sums them up perfectly.
Nic
and
więcej się nie
an awful lot of
spodziewałem.
Space Wolf players I've met as well, to be fair. You know who you guys are. Well, that's an incredible range of miniatures coming for the Space Wolves. And what's more, that's not all. There's going to be more coming as well. We just haven't shown you everything yet. Expect some more characters, some more elite units coming too, but keep your acute senses fixed on Warhammer Community website.
A sami co mogą dostać. Pełen stan Grimnara, bo musimy patrzeć na rework Black Templarów, jeśli chodzi o nich.
But let's have a look now over to Question Corner. Ed,
Moim zdaniem bardziej niż na rework. Choć w sumie, może patrzeć na rework Dark Angelsów.
Lots of love for Space Wolves. Space Wolf related question though is, do we know if Thunderwolf cavalry are still going to be riding across the battlefield?
So we're not going to answer any questions about that right now because the Warhammer Community website is going to give you more details about what's going to be included in the codex coming forward. There's loads of articles coming about that. So just keep your eyes on Warhammer Community for now, and all your questions will be answered right there on the website. And sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, for definite.
Różniczowy ziomek?
There's been a couple of questions that have been asked since actually before the stream started, and they've been asked throughout, so it's time to come to them. Imperial Knights, obviously on the last roadmap, they appeared as one of the next codexes.
To jest ten robot, tylko trochę inne malowanie.
At a similar time. When can we see Imperial Knights, do we think?
We will answer that momentarily.
Okay.
Still to come, essentially. Chaos Knights, do you know if they're ever getting a named character? That's another question that's been asked since the beginning.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be real pedantic here, but in White Dwarf 509, they got 2 named characters in the combat patrol. So there we go. They already exist. As for other named characters in the future, I don't know, to be honest with you. Again, keep your eyes on Warcom. If we haven't talked about it here, we can't mention it yet. Warhammer Community's got all the information you need, guys.
Yeah, so tied into that, again, we've had questions about the release dates, the limited edition codexes. Again, same thing, it'll be announced on Warcom. Another question about them, though, is are they all releasing at the same time, or are they staggered?
Ooh, that's a good question. We know the Army launch set's going to be released as itself, but then we'll see other stuff coming out later on as well. Release dates and everything completely up to other people other than us. Again, Warhammer Community and the social media channels are the place to look for that. And I know we've got burning questions we want to answer, guys. We can't say everything quite yet, but keep your eyes on Warhammer Community. That's the place to look.
I do have a potential lore-based question. Obviously, we're coming back to Armageddon. Wouldn't be Armageddon without Old Man Yarrick. Now, is he still around in the lore?
As we saw from the Astra Militarum Codex a while back, Yarrick is, as far as the Imperium is concerned, deceased. There was a great memorial for him. So, unfortunately, no.
Well, at least, it's a pretty much hard no. Read the Codex Astra Militarum. It's pretty decisive.
There was a body.
Sorry, guys. He's an old man no longer. But hope that answers that, but maybe not the way you wanted us to, I guess. Anything else, Ed?
Yeah, again, there's just lots of questions about, new minis, what might be coming next. So again, all those will just still be.
Do you know what?
Check out Warcom.
We would love to answer all those questions, guys.
Yes.
And as hobbyists ourselves, we totally understand, but we can't say everything right now. Just keep looking at the website and you'll see all that. In fact, should we take a look right now, a little look further ahead at what might be coming next for Warhammer 40,000?
Disappointed.
So, coming up first, we've got the Thousand Suns. They're going to be marching in with the Star robots. Space Wolves,
śmiesznie.
The World Eaters, finally, the Death Guard.
Dewka to sam koniec.
They're coming quite soon as well. It's saying right now on the screen, so they're coming real soon, which is good news for all you Chaos.
Co, robociki dla Sonsów.
Now,
Porażka.
coming next, we've got the Black Templars, we've got the Grey Knights, the Chaos Knights, and Imperial Knights are stomping over the horizon as we speak.
And then a little bit further on, These are 3 more
No, Ligi
factions
Wotanu
coming. Now,
i...
I'm pretty sure I can guess at least
Co
2
to
of them.
jest?
Yeah, me too.
Cholera.
They are
O tych
definitely
salamandrach mogli
interesting.
powiedzieć
And in the
więcej.
far future, something's coming. It's a shadowy shape. What could it be? Let us know in the chat what you
Space
think that could
Marines.
be, because I've got a couple of theories, certainly.
Nieinteresujące.
What do you reckon? I reckon there's a few theories.
I've got an idea.
Yeah, me too. So there we go. That's what's coming for the future for Warhammer 40,000. We've got just enough time for a couple more questions. Ed, is there anything else that's burning people want to know?
There's a lot of questions about Warcry, you know, where we're at with the current edition. Obviously, we've still got a lot of Warcry miniatures out at the moment. Have we got any updates on Warcry?
Nothing to report at the moment. Again, keep your eyes on one. It's going to be the same answer pretty much. Just keep your eyes on one community for all updates as that sort of thing. Anything else, Ed, at all? Maybe?
Yeah, are these Thousand Suns automatons related to Vashtor in any way?
That's a good
They've got
question.
the dark mechanic.
Ooh, time will tell.
Time will tell. Vashtor, of course, is the sort of the dark mechanic of the Chaos Forces, right?
Yes.
Has he perhaps built?
To było duże
one?
preview.
Oh,
I don't know.
These are ancient robots,
Oh,
so
okay.
these have been around for a very long time. But that's not to say that Vashtor isn't going to have some sort of hand in anything technological. He's happily shown up at the Pariah Nexus. Obviously, he's got wormwood. It wouldn't surprise me if his claws got all over the place.
There we go. Do you know what? That's been an absolutely brilliant show. We've seen some fantastic releases, some fantastic previews
To
coming
było
up.
spore preview.
We saw the
Trwała
Old
godzinę.
World,
Sporo
we
pokazali.
saw, Kilting.
Wolfy były
yes.
trochę zaskoczeniem moim
Space
zdaniem.
Wolves, all those 40k releases,
All
for the
those-
Chaos factions.
Yeah, the new
To, że nie
Spearhead
pokazali
Squad,
nic
what's
z
been
ten,
your
z tych
favourite?
właśnie
I'm awfully tempted by the Ravenous in that kill team
Yeah,
box,
that's
but I
pretty cool.
think
tajemniczych
it's gonna be
salamandr,
Beauty Crown
szkoda.
Captain Dragon.
Yeah, beautiful model. And for me, I think I'm a Spearhead
Kafia mi się
fan, so I'm
zaskoczyła.
looking
Myślę, że
forward
Kafia
to
się nikt nie
see
spodziewał,
Sand and
jednak.
Bone. And I can't wait to see Simon paint some of those new Space Walls as well. It's going to be good. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us here on the preview show. Just a quick one. If you want to see any more pictures and information about what we've shown here today, make sure you're going over to the Warhammer Community website where you can have a look at some more pictures and check out more information. And also sign up to the newsletter there as well, which is where you'll get all the first information. You can sign up to our social media, which is again where you'll see loads of pictures.
Czekam, czy jeszcze nie będzie na przykład
You can
tego,
see our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and X.
jak to Bobercie dali.
Sign up there,
Pokazali nowego
and, get all the
bohatera.
information straight to you. And also this weekend at Adepticon we have other streams coming right here on Twitch as well. So if you want to see the 140,000 Championship or the 140,000 Team Tournaments, they're all being streamed over the next 4 days up until Sunday. So do check them out right here on Twitch. Thank you to everyone involved behind the scenes, behind the camera. Those of you in the chat, Notley, you're absolute legend. Thank you so much indeed. Alex, Ed, it's been a real pleasure. I think that's it, guys. I think we're signing out.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. And we'll see you next time.
Oh.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Liczę na coś jeszcze. No dobra. Więc tak. Ładowarka? Spoko. Ale taka mało do recenzji. Jakby dużo o niej powiedzieć nie mogłem. Dziękuję Bezosie. Droga. Ale z drugiej strony, jeśli to jest ładowarka, to prawie do wszystkiego. Prawie każdego laptopa. Pytanie, czy do iPadowych? To jest podstawowe pytanie. Bingo. Za drogi marsz nie było. Niszowa żywica nie. Gra People nie było. Nie było morskich elfów. No właśnie, nie było nic dosyć Age of Sigmar. To jest trochę smutne. Dobra, exciting news. Weźmy coś dla gwardii. Nie idźcie. Battlefield nie było, Necromundy nie było, Army Sety były, więc to przynajmniej tyle sukces. Nie, to były Battle Force. Nie, były Army Set tych Wolfów. Nie na co czekaliśmy. Definitywnie jeśli chodzi o roboty, nie było 100. Dobry kill team był. Kodeks. Tak. No bingo. Nikt się nie spodziewał Space Wolfów przed tymi. Nie. Kogo? Już wam mówię. Tak, Space Wolfów przed tymi. Przed chaosem. Bingo. Bingo! Dobra, a tymczasem przejdźmy sobie na Warhammer Community jeszcze i zobaczmy sobie każde artykuły po kolei. Znaczy nie będziemy się dużo pochylać nad nimi, będę je omawiał jeszcze... Dosłownie dzisiaj będę je omawiał. Tylko jeszcze pochwalę się na grupie. Bingo! 2. Jak uwzględnimy Armageddon, to 2. W sumie! A co tam? Kto nie zabroni? Bingo! Dobra. Co mamy z głowy, to mamy z głowy. Dobra, po kolei, po kolei. Tak, jesteśmy na początku, tak. Tylko może dajmy to wam bardziej. O, nie to chciałem. Na środek, żeby było ładnie. Spoko, no. O, nie, to jest stary elf. Stary Beastman chyba, co nie? Jak mi się przynajmniej kojarzy, że wcześniej był. Tak, returning plastik. No to nie jest returning. A nie, też jest returning plastik, tak, bo to jest inny niż który go pokazali. Pod tym względem ciekawego. O, te fajne są. No i to też fajnie, że będzie. To jest nowe. Stare. No fajna bestia. To jest chyba Jabberwock, co nie? Też jakieś chimerowate. No i metal. Spoko. Śmieszne. Elfy, to samo. Nic porywającego, nic co nas zaskoczyło. Niektóre stawy będą fajne. Ładne. No to był przez długo regularny model do Sigmara. Tak a propos. O, Devolut fajny. Dobra, no spoko. No, tutaj też nie będziemy się tam wczytywać w tekst. Kafia. Kafia wygląda fajnie. Kafia wygląda ciekawie. Podoba mi się. Nie gram w Old Worlda. Aktualnie przestałem zbierać miasta Sigmara. I to nie jest moja stylistyka, ale widzę, że z tego można bardzo fajne miasta Sigmara zrobić. I to prawdopodobnie tańsze miasta Sigmara. Bo domyślam się, że oni... A nie, dobra. Nie będą chyba 2 oddziały po te 5... Po 15. Myślę, że to będzie box 15. O nie, to może być box 30 figurek. I będzie w rozsądnej cenie. Czyli 300 zł pewnie, ale wciąż. Tak samo, konica fajnie wygląda. No działa, bardzo fajne. To jest bardzo fajny proxy do miast Sigmara. Bardzo fajne. Sky Lantern ma ponoć mieć jakąś dziwaczną podstawkę. Hihi, fajne. Hihi. Fajne tylko jak wszystko są. Kafian Sentinels. Najstarsza córka. No spoko. Spoko i fajnie też, że jakby oni mają... No właśnie, podoba mi się... Tam jest 6, tam jest 8 tam była, bo jest Errant. W którymś momencie sobie jeszcze zobaczymy za chwilkę oczywiście. Dobra, tego też nie będziemy czytać. Interesuje mnie to pudełko, bo pudełko, które pokazali, było duże. A nie musi być duże, więc to mnie ciekawi. Prawdopodobnie go nie zakupię, bo do Necromundy oni są spoko, ale Tyranidzi mnie osobiście nie porywają. Nie podoba mi się ta kreza na Prime, no a z drugiej strony nie muszę go składać w ten sposób, więc spoko. Ta kreza też mi się nie podoba, ale akurat ta kreza może mi się nie podobać. Ale Wrecker bardzo fajny, ten Venom Spitter i Burlyman. Nie wiem czemu tego nie ma, ale był jeszcze taki cięższy. O, nie, to nie są. Nie, to nie są. Zgaduję, że pewnie on ma opcję złożenia na cięższego albo na takiego kwasowego właśnie. Terenki fajne, fajnie szkońcony plastik treńskiego terenu. No i kit zawsze są fajną opcją. Te boxy łączone kit pod warunkiem, że to nie jest duży box, który będzie kosztował 700. Ale nie powinien być. Bo nie ma planszy, ma znacznie mniej terenów niż powinien mieć. To będzie box 440 zł kosztował. I za 2 bandy to jest spoko zestaw. O, tu jest dużo tych części, co myślałem, że były wotańskie. Bo tu jest, pamiętam, że była chyba ta ręka trzymająca skrzynkę. Te odnóża kończyny też brzmią znajomo. Fajny zestaw. Szkoda, żeby tych kombat serwitorów jest tak mało, że są tylko 3. Przypomnę, każdego z nich można tworzyć na kombat serwitora. Ale fajne. Dobra, muszę zobaczyć. Czy to są... Wiem, że mówicie, że są nowe sculpty, ale czy to jest... To jest Blackstone'owy, co nie? Nie, to jest właśnie... Nie, to jest właśnie agenci Inkwizycji. I to ten mnie interesuje. Nie, chodź tu, chodź tu. O, on był z Bolterem. O, dokładnie, w sumie... Dokładnie tego potrzebuję. To nie jest ten sam ziomek. Nie jest, ma inną rękę. To śmieszne. Ale Walter ma taki sam. Ale głowę ma inną. To jest ogólny skulpt bardzo podobny. I nogi ma całkiem inne. Ogólny skulpt jest podobny, ale to jest nowy model. To jest trochę śmiesznie. Serwitory fajne. Tylko prawdopodobnie, gdy będą wychodzić, to kupię po prostu ich kiedyś osobno sobie do Necromundy. Bo te ręki fajne, ale jakoś nie przekonują mnie. Gdyby mój gracz trainingów jeszcze wciąż działał, to byśmy kupili, a w takiej opcji to nie będzie mi tak ciągnąć jak na przykład jak Blood and Zeal, który będę zakupywał. Spearhead to nie moja sprawka. Mam nadzieję, że stare pozostaną w sprzedaży. Ten byłby bardzo fajny, gdyby nie fakt, że mam już tych tropicieli. Tropiciele są fajną jednostką, ale są bardzo unikalną jednostką, więc przez są trochę problematyczni. No i tak samo to, jakbym chciał zbierać kości trupy, bardzo fajne. Można wykłać, można wykłać. No i to fajnie wygląda, fajnie, że to jest takie teczce. Już widzieliśmy, że nasze 40 nie będzie tak wyglądać, co nas zasmuca niestety. No i to jest Scourge of Gurren. Interesujące. To dalej jest na horyzoncie. To jest trochę smutne. Mój przecież zbiera 1000, ale jak zobaczę, co staje, to się chyba na wilki przyrzuci, bo no, domyślam się i rozumiem. No właśnie, to mnie interesuje. I to sobie poczytamy. Asymmetric Wargames. A, to są te Challenger karty. Zobaczmy je bliżej. Force Bridge, one movement, one from army, in the face, inside movement, external, it can horizontal. No spoko. Podejmę przez teren. Tylko każda jednostka, a nie piechota. Albo 3 punkty. Spoko, to mi się podoba. To jest bardzo fajny, moim zdaniem, koncept z tego, z Spearheada przede wszystkim. Gdzie albo skorujesz, albo używasz stratagemu, który ci pozwala skorować główny lub w testamenturze ale tylko to jest... Minus jest taki, jak już masz przewagę punktową niestety. Markerki. Fajne. No i znowu, mamy osobno. Oni mają w teczce. Tak, i są Flexible Pet Material. Ale fajnie. Bo muszę pilnować, żeby gdy będzie tylko premiera, żeśmy zamówili tego full, moim zdaniem. Bo to się zawsze sprzeda. To jest bardzo fajne. Dalej. Nowy Berserker. Mi się podoba. Mi się podoba, że jest. Mi się podoba, że jak wygląda nawet. Charakter Lightboundów nie był niezbędny, ale jest cool. Coś, co mi się nie podoba, to jeśli dobrze rozumiem i widzę, to brak opcji złożenia. Brak opcji złożenia. To jest pewien minus. Mam nadzieję, że będzie głowa w hełmie, bo jednak ja wolę głowy hełmowe. Wiem, że on ma wyglądać jak Bloodthirster i musi być na wierzchu, już tam jest demonem, więc czemu mnie, ale wciąż jednak ja osobiście wolę, żeby hełm miał. No i ta ręka mi się mniej... O, widzieliśmy na Urmangina, a propos. Mniej mi się podoba. Wolałbym dać mu chyba rękę z jakimś wielgachnym toporem. Jeszcze zmutowaną. Wolałbym nawet zamienić. Bo ta ręka... Moim zdaniem ta ręka jest bardziej widoczna. w sensie ta zmutowana. Wolałbym, żeby ta bardziej widoczna była ładna, a ta toporkowa mi się bardziej podoba. Co tu mogę dać? No, dużo opcji niestety nie mam do dodania. Szkoda. No i kodeks. Bardzo cool. Czy mamy opisane liczbę? 5 detachments. Interesujące. Jeśli chodzi o pochsukerów, tyfus na okładce. Ale nowy charakter. Nowy charakter wygląda bardzo spoko. Nowy charakter wygląda ok, wygląda fajnie. I mamy tych detachmentów pewnie też tyle samo. 6. To jest głupio, że oni mają piątkę, a oni mają szóstkę. Nie wiem, dlaczego nie mają szóstkę, a dlaczego nie mają tylko piątkę. Czemu nie 8 w takim razie? No, okej. Przepraszam, oni powinien mieć 7. To się popsuli. No i w sumie dużo tutaj nie wiemy więcej niż wiedzieliśmy, że będzie detachment w każdym kodeksie dla demonów, to wiedzieliśmy. Panie. O, poznaję ten szpon. Panie. Ktoś ominął każdy dzień na siłowni. One nie są złe, tylko one są złe do tej armii w tym okresie z tą grubością. Gdyby były niemal dosłownie 2 razy szersze, tak samo wysokie, czyli w sumie były w szerokości dreada i wielkości dreada, one są chyba też spore, byłoby ok. Dobra, bronie tylko nie mogły być szersze. Bo głowy, ręce, każdy element mógł być szerszy, minus bronie. Byłyby spoko, były fajne. Malowanie dziwne, jako domyślne malowanie. Spodziewałbym się na przykład raczej, nie wiem, czerwonego tutaj, skoro to mają być starożytne roboty, lub niebieski zdarty, a mamy białe. Okej, no dobra, okej. Spoko, i tak sobie mogę podobać w inny sposób. Chociaż to nie są złe modele, to są złe modele do tej armii w tym czasie. I czemu tylko oni dostali charakterów? I czemu 2 w boksie? I czemu to będzie kosztować bardzo dużo pieniędzy? O, i stealtha mają. Stealtha i infiltrate, jak rozumiem, będą mieli. No też właśnie może. Seketar Robots. No mówię, nie podobają mi się. Wygląda na to, że da się zrobić double laskalone, więc to brzmi interesująco. Ale też są fajną jednostką potencjalnie jakby w zasadach, bo zgaduję, że to jest Twin Laskanon, więc w sumie Sentinel dla rubryków nie jest zły. Platforma ciężkiej broni nie jest zła. Zwłaszcza z tym Infiltrate, zwłaszcza z tym Stealthem. Tylko no... modele nie są fajne. To jest największy zawód tego wszystkiego, bo czekaliśmy na to. Wiemy, że mają się pojawić, pojawiły się i zapieprzają dupa. Kodeks fajny. Dajcie mi czarodzieja w tej formie. No i oczywiście i znowu 1000 synowy dla jakiegoś powodu nie pokazany. A wiem, że będzie. No i moim zdaniem Devgardowy wygląda najładniej. Dobra, to sobie stawimy na koniec. Nie stawimy sobie na koniec. Dobra, Intense. Wiemy, jak to się skończy. Odepchniemy ich. No, to mi się nie podoba. Ja nie jestem fanem Epic Hero. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo, to jest i to dokładnie ta sama umiejętności. No i to samo No i to samo, to są dokładnie te same umiejętności. Oj, Black Templarze tam wciąż będą, tak a propos, widzę. To jest duży minus. Bo to jest dokładnie kalka z Nahmud Gauntlet. Czemu nie dali zestawu nowych umiejętności? Pokazali dwie, które już są w Nahmundzie. No i przy okazji jeszcze kodeks Rejnajci. Okej. W sumie dużo więcej nie powiedzieli. Szkoda. O, tu jest ten posąg stópkarzy, ale bez skrzydeł. Oj, z symbolem korna. Fajnie przerobione. Ta książka mnie trochę niepokoi. Nie podoba mi się ona, bo będzie w full price, a widzę, że względem Nahmunda jest mniej zmian niż Nahmund względem Paleja. Szczerze, gdyby było tak, że jestem przywódcą lokalnej grupy kurcetowej bez wsparcia sklepu, to byśmy nie kupili tej książki. Po tym, co widzę oczywiście. Bo to jest tak, to już mieliśmy. Tak samo też są, przynajmniej to jest Strategic Point, a nie Strategic Asset Point, więc jest bardziej ogólne. Z drugiej strony, może jak kupimy tą książkę, to trzecią kurcjatę możemy sobie zagrać na własnych zasadach, więc jakby też daje opcję. No i Wolfy. Wolfy były chyba największym zaskoczeniem, bo wiedzieliśmy, że będą, tylko nie wiedzieliśmy, że będą teraz już. To jest Army Set, wygląda ładnie. O, Lucas the Trickster. Tak, no, a nie, chyba nie. Chyba jednak. Nie, to jest chyba zwykły champion. Army Set wygląda całkiem ok. Trochę śmiesznie, że oni dostali Six Boundów, a Slash nie. No i te wilki. Wilki też trochę są smutkiem. No dobra, Bloodcloty. To są nowicjusze. To są skauci. To są poziom wyżej niż skauci. No spoko, no są ok. O, to są Assault Intercesorzy. O, to jest lepsze. Oj, dziwne, że mamy biki tutaj już. Ale spoko, bardzo fajnie. Fajne płaskie płyty. Twarde cięcia mi się podobają. Fakt, że to nie jest takie obłe jak w normalnych większości ich modeli. O, jak tutaj. Dla mnie to jest znacznie bardziej kanciaste, więc bardziej Space Marinesowe. Fajne. Są fajne, jasne, niech będzie. Grey Hunterzy. Tu już jest lepiej. O, bo to chyba nie jest. Nie, dobra. Już myślałem, że to jest ten. To jest 7. To jest 8. Jakby są. Są spoko. Nie porywają. Nie są tacy, o mój Boże. Ale są ok. Są fajni. To nie są Sword Bradeni. To nie jest Crusade Squad. Ale są ok. Są ładni, schludni. Są git. Jeśli naramienniki są jeszcze rzeźbione, a nie muszą być w sumie. W sumie nawet może lepiej, żeby nie były. I hejtykarze. Hejtykarze też fajnie wyglądają. Wyglądają w takich solidnych pancerzach. To nie są grawice chyba. A nie, to są grawice. Prawdopodobnie. To są grawice. No, wyglądają solidnie. Tarcza. Ja próbuję tarcza. Nietypowe tarcze. Próbuję nietypowe tarcze. Płaszcze. O, dokładnie. Chciałem wersję z hełmami. O, wersje z dwiema brońmi są. Cool. Tylko wilki. Małe. Za małe. Wolfguard Battle Leader. O, też opcje głowy. O, z młotem. Z tarczą. Albo z pistoletem. Znowu. Bardzo fajny, wspólny model. I Wolf Priest chyba... Panie. Ta główka ładna. Druga też jako była. Gdzie go można fajny... Pewnie dostaną. Właśnie 20 unikalnych jednostek. Panie. Pewnie dostaną. Ale jak nie dostaną kapitana specjalnego, to z niego fajnego można zrobić. Myślę, że staw ten Bądź szczerze. Ja bym go wystawiał jako kapitana. Tylko ręce zamienił. Jego ręce, jego ciało. I kapitan. No i też ta główka też fajna. Do innych rzeczy. All in all, bardzo fajny zestaw. All in all, bardzo fajny preview. Tylko właśnie. 20 unikalnych jednostek. No zobaczymy, zobaczymy. Zostałem jeszcze Grimnara, prawie na pewno. Myślę, że kapitana. No jeszcze zobaczymy. Zobaczymy, co jeszcze Space Wolf dostaną. Powinien dostać więcej. Black Templarzy dostali... dwóch charakterów, 2 składy, upgrade dla pojazdu. Dark Angelsi dostali 2 charakterów, 3 składy i upgrade. No to tak na oko właśnie Blood Angelsi dostali 2 charakterów, 2 składy, z czego to był skład i pół i upgrade'y. Więc myślę, że jeszcze będzie kapitan i Grimnar. To jest moja opinia. I może kawaleria. Bo kawaleria myślę, że no powinien mieć kawalerię. To będę na takich malutkich wilczkach. Mam już opisane te wilki? To są prawdziwe, normalne. To są terminatorzy. A tak, przepraszam, jeszcze dostaję Priesta. Nie, ale to nie są, to nie są terminatorzy. Nie. Okej. Wolfgardzi to są terminatorzy. O, czyli dostałem może jeszcze w takim razie Wolfgardów zwykłych. Dobra, już przynajmniej rozumiem swój błąd i swoje prawo do błędu. Dobra, już. No plecaki inne, no tak jak panie, to nie wygląda jak termoska, więc dlaczego skaman, ale w Wolfgardzie jak najbardziej termosy, więc... Dobra. No śmieszne bardzo. To będzie taka wersja Bladeguardów, no tak. Dokładnie. To spoko, podoba mi się. I w takim razie czekam na salamandrę, czy dostaną takie same. Rozumiem, mniej dostaną, bo nie mają kodeksu. Zobaczymy. Dobra, preview zamykam. Ono będzie chwilę wisieć jako live. Złożę reakcję na szybko i to wrzucę jako osobny film. Nie będę. Bo w miarę szybko będziemy omawiać. To zostawię po prostu w takim razie w formie live'u. Bardzo szybko będziemy omawiać to na podcaście, więc myślę, że nie masz takiej potrzeby. Także dobranoc wszystkim. Do następnego. Podcast nagrywamy za jakieś 20 godzin. Nie, sorry. Nie tak, za 20 godzin. Więc jak macie jakieś pytania, to na Discordzie możecie wrzucić spróbujemy się do nich odnieść. Choć w tym tygodniu dużo mamy newsów, dużo mamy innych tematów do omówienia, więc zobaczymy, jak się wrobimy. A podcast musi być krótki z wielu powodów. Także do następnego. Tu jest kamerka teraz. Do następnego, drodzy widzowie. Pup!